Hello, and welcome to another episode of Despite the Challenges, a show where we showcase amazing abilities of people who not only overcome their challenges, but they go out in the community and help in so many amazing ways and inspire us all. Today, my guest is Venus Majeski. Venus is the Director of Development and Community Relations with NJID, which is New Jersey Institute of Disability. In her 25 years serving this organization, she has a number of stories to tell us, and every story has a unique perspective. So let's hear more from Venus. Venus, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So tell us about yourself and your organization a little bit.
Sure. I think that the story of how New Jersey Institute for Disabilities was founded is really one of the great stories of success and shows the impact that people can have in their community. It was 1949, and there were two families who had children with disabilities, the Marks family and the Rotella family from Perth Amboy and Highland Park. And these mothers used to travel every week with their children on a bus to find services in Philadelphia because there was nothing available locally.
That's a long stretch.
It was a very grueling trip, and the boys had braces on, cerebral palsy, they had difficulty walking. These ladies also played mahjong, and they had friends. And one day in Highland Park, one of the ladies said, "What would it take to have something here so that you didn't need to go so far?" And they decided that day to put the mahjong game away and that they would devote their time to establishing an agency. Isn't that incredible?
Wow.
And these are women, very middle class women, no particular wealth, just people who had a need. And someone had a friend who was a freeholder in Middlesex County, and someone knew someone at Johnson & Johnson. Another person knew a car dealer who had some wealth, and they put all their resources together, and they founded then the Cerebral Palsy League. That was our first name.
Okay.
And it was 1949.
Okay, long time.
It was. And the freeholders heard about this, and they gave us an abandoned garage in Perth Amboy on Bertram Avenue, if anyone knows the area, right off of Smith Street. And in that abandoned garage, volunteer labor came together to paint and refurbish and to bring in some equipment. They had a teacher, they had a nurse and a therapist, and that was it.
In a garage.
In a garage. But you know what? It was a place where kids with disabilities could call their own. And they came. And children came from throughout Middlesex County looking for that education, looking for therapy, looking for something that specially met their needs. Because, it was a different time in 1949.
Absolutely.
So we grew. And in 1961, the freeholders gave us a tract of land in Roosevelt Park in Edison. It's a beautiful county park. And they said,
It is.
It is a beautiful park. And they said, "Why don't you build a proper school?"
Okay.
And again, volunteers came and they donated the brick and they donated the paint and the electrical and the plumbing, and they built a school. And today I have to tell you that because of the bold, and I really value this, the bold impact of those two women, I'm before you today representing an agency with a budget of over $32 million, nearly 500 employees in 37 locations throughout the state, serving infants, children, and adults with disabilities, no longer limited to cerebral palsy.
Yes.
But it's a great agency, and it really started in such a grassroots effort.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. In a garage with little equipment or resources.
Absolutely.
So it's a long way coming to where it is. It's a beautiful school. I had the opportunity to visit the school, and it was really a touching experience. To see children, the use of the technology provided, the nurses, the assistants, helping them to make the best out of their lives. So, Judy, I was there just for a short while, and my perspective changed. It's a lot of things that I did not know what's available to them. But you have a long history with the organization, and I am sure that you have seen some of the young children who came and became adult and remain part of the organization. Some of the amazing stories or talents they have. Right? Tell us a little bit your growth with the organization and how things have changed over the years.
That's very true. I came to the organization, oh my goodness, a quarter century ago. And my first career was in politics and government. And it was time for a change. And Dominic Ursino was the president then. He remains the president now. And it's really because of his vision and leadership that we have the agency we have. He is a titan among service provider agencies in that he is very willing to put in all the work and all the effort to make things happen. And he has the vision so that he can see what needs to be done. And so he's actually been there since 1972. That's 42 years. It's an incredible tenure.
It is.
And we are very blessed that he still remains with us. So I have seen changes in 25 years. And I'll tell you that that's what our agency is all about. It's always changing. It's always adapting. In 1970, we started the first early intervention program in the state of New Jersey, one of the first 13 in the country.
Oh, okay.
And early intervention is for children from birth to age 3. And, Ritu, things happen at birth, and everyone prays for the blessing of a healthy child. We know that.
Yes.
And oftentimes that doesn't happen. Now, there's reasons why that does. Sometimes it's a medical condition. Sometimes it's a lifestyle, a choice.
Yes, very often.
We have, we're serving Central Jersey. And so we have communities where mothers are not getting good prenatal care, or they may be involved with drugs or alcohol abuse. And, there's societal factors that influence that. But once
the health of the fetus.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sometimes it just happens. I've seen women with perfectly wonderful pregnancies, and there's an incident at birth, and a child might lose oxygen and will be affected. So early intervention starts right when that child is in the neonatal intensive care unit. Our agency is very closely affiliated with St. Peter's University Hospital, the children's hospital there. And in fact, we share a medical director. Our medical director is the director of pediatrics over at St. Peter's, Dr. Bipin Patel. And he's been with us for, oh my goodness, at least 20 years. And so what do you do with a child and a baby that's small? Well, you train a mother or a caregiver how to best care for that child. There's therapy, speech therapy, occupational and physical therapy that the little ones can, undergo, stimulation, learning how to play. And also what we do, we take a very holistic approach and bring in the siblings as well. Because, if you have a 6-year-old daughter at home waiting for her little brother, and now that little brother comes and whatever the situation is, he can't play. He can't throw the ball. It's just he doesn't have that capacity. So we'll take that 6-year-old and show her games that she can play with her brother.
Wow,
and let her understand. Absolutely.
So you bring in the whole family unit together, the siblings, the parents, the caregivers to.
It's essential. It's essential for the well-being of the child. Many of our children don't have the capacity to nurse. They don't even have that ability. So we teach mom how to get nourishment into her child. And so at age 3, some of the children in early intervention will go to public school and maybe have some supports later on. But many children will need specialized education. And so we have the Lakeview School.
Yes.
And that's really, I think, the flagship of our agency. And many people think that is the whole agency, the Lakeview School. But you've been there and you know what a
Yes.
place it is.
It's an amazing facility for the kind of people it serves.
Yes, and the children who come to Lakeview School generally have serious medical conditions.
Yes.
And so we need to make sure that those medical needs are attended to properly and that the child receives all the therapies that they need. We have 36 full-time therapists at the Lakeview School, which is more than most hospitals, but it's a very intense program.
So Lakeview also has educational academics
Absolutely.
as well, in addition to the
Absolutely.
therapy or healthcare
We
related
Yes.
activities.
We have curriculum that suits the whole spectrum of students. We have students who are above grade level and, you know, very bright and moving forward, and they're in academic classes that are what you would find in a typical school, if not even more advanced. And then we have children who have very low cognitive function. And so programs are designed to meet their needs as well.
I see.
We round out the program with great enrichment activities, with music and choirs and cheerleading, and we have social services, of course. The nursing staff is amazing. I'll tell you this, we have about 150 students at Lakeview, and they come from 12 counties throughout the state.
12 counties.
12 counties.
So
They're coming north, south, east, west, coming to Lakeview.
It's because it's only its kind of facility.
It's one
in
of
New
a
Jersey.
kind. Yeah, there are other
Wow.
schools that will attend to different parts of it. Lakeview is very comprehensive in terms of its scope, and many parents want their children in the Lakeview program, but their children might not require the intensity levels that are provided at Lakeview.
Why is so? The parents want it, and it may not be the right kind of facility for them, right? Because it's just a minor therapy or something that they can receive outside of the school.
Yes, yes, and there's and that's the whole concept of a continuum of choice for parents. There are some parents who choose public schools, and that is absolutely the right choice. But for those students who have very compromised physical conditions, and I tell you this, there are at any given time 50 private duty nurses on staff at Lakeview. 50. Because children who...
That's a large number.
It's huge. It's like 1/3 of the population, right? You have 150 students.
Yes.
50 of them have private duty nurses because that's the level of their complexity in terms of medical conditions. Many of them are on ventilators.
Yes.
Or there are children, of course, many who are G-tube feeding, catheterizations, seizure disorder. It runs the whole gamut. There's over 100 different diagnoses in the Lakeview School.
Wow. Within 150 of the...
Yes.
Wow.
Many children have
So
more than one condition.
it complicates.
Very, very. We have a great medical staff as well. Dr. Rosemary Marola, she's a renowned pediatrician who specializes in autism disorder.
Okay.
She is recently joining our staff over at Lakeview School. And then we have a number of other doctors who come in and actually run their clinics at the school.
Okay.
So what that does is, if there's a particular problem that a teacher might notice in class about a student, she can make that known to the mother and the doctor at the same time. And so it's really very productive to have the doctors come to Lakeview. It's a lot easier on the
To
parents as
observe a
well.
child in action as well.
Absolutely. And to
I
see
see.
them and treat them.
See, it's amazing that like 100 different diagnoses in a small school. If you look at the kind of or challenges each one would have, the parents would have, I'm sure that you have many stories that parents come in and how they found out accidentally, how what it took. So you serve not only as a community relation, uh, but you get so personal and close with these people,
And that's really my privilege
right?
to know. And I have to say that you picked up on that. That was one of the things that impressed me so much when I first came to Lakeview School, the parents. What the challenges they have confronted and their optimism and their hope and their understanding, it transformed my way of thinking. I had a different idea about the word disability and how that affects people. And I have, because of the influence of so many wonderful people that I've had the opportunity to work with and to know, I understand that disability is just one more difference. It's just one more difference as a blonde hair, blue eye, or a dark hair, green eye. It's just one more difference. And there's a richness to that. There's a perspective that comes from that. And I have had an opportunity to advocate now on behalf of persons with disabilities, and that's a big part of what our agency does.
I see you were named by President Barack Obama as a national champion of change. The work that you did within a Homeland Security disaster readiness for persons with disabilities. Would you like to give us a little bit more?
Well, we were fortunate in that we received a few grants of national significance, and they were in excess of $1.5 million. And some of that money was devoted to disaster readiness, getting ready for. This all came after Hurricane Katrina,
Okay.
which we're actually celebrating now, 10-year anniversary at this time. But there was a thought that people with disabilities were really left out of the thinking, the process of working with disaster readiness. And so it captured my imagination, and we launched a program, and it was so highly successful in personalizing preparation at the individual level. Wow. And then growing that out, I had the opportunity to work with the Middlesex County Office of Emergency Management, the state offices, the Red Cross. And through this program, we were able to influence so that in the past, when they would do disaster drills, they would have actors, people, volunteers who pretended that they had a disability. Oh, I have a broken leg. Oh, I have the. And I said, no, we're bringing people who have disabilities into the shelter, and we are doing the drill live, real. And it was the first time it was ever done.
Here in New Jersey?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And very few times nationally. And I invited families who had children on the autism spectrum. I invited people who used wheelchairs, people with different types of diagnoses, different needs. And we did that drill, and just let me say it was a teaching moment.
I am sure.
Because no one was ready for children who had meltdowns and and the noise and the
different
congestion.
Actors.
Absolutely. and we went to this place, and I won't say where it was, but we went to a place that had fully accessible restrooms. Not really. The people in the wheelchairs couldn't make the turns. So we learned so much.
I'm
And
sure.
from those difficulties
Uh-huh.
came real systems change.
Yes.
And that was the point. And the point was that people with disabilities were at the table. And when I went, I had an opportunity to go to the White House for this award, and I said, my work will be done when no one is surprised that people with disabilities can excel. They are in our community, which is where people belong, working alongside of us, being fully accepted. And so much of what we teach at the Lakeview School is on that personal level, self-advocacy, making things happen for yourself and your community. And then, of course, we talked about this, Ritu, where children with disabilities grow up to be adults with disabilities.
Yes, like anybody else, any other child, normal child. They would one day become adults, and your programs continue.
And all the things that are important to you and to me, where will I live? What's my philosophy? Who's my friends? What's my faith? Is just as important to an adult with a disability. And NJID has developed a wide array of services to meet those needs. Again, depending on the needs of the particular person, it's all person-centered planning. That's one of our hallmarks. And so we have employment services for those.
Oh,
yeah, we
wow.
do. We have job coaches, and we seek out job opportunities for those clients who would like to go into regular employment. We also have adult day programs for those clients who need a more structured day. And so they come to an adult training center and they learn different skills and have different supports, a wide variety of supports. And then we also have residential services, which provides group homes and apartments in the community, scattered throughout New Jersey, in neighborhoods. You wouldn't even know that our group home is a group home. It's usually the most lovely home in the neighborhood. We're very proud we take care of that.
So that's all the initiative of the NJID?
Absolutely, yes.
Tell me a little bit more on the technology part of that. It's fascinating to see the facility. How technology is changing the lives of these people.
Even in my 25 years, I've seen these enormous changes, as we all have, right? 25 years ago, we didn't have a laptop computer. We had big clunky things on, if we had that, right? Technology has just broken down so many barriers. For everyone, I think, for everyone. We're able to chat with someone in another country now, right?
Yes.
We do this all the time. We don't even think about it. And so too for people with disabilities, starting very young. We have a lending library. Oftentimes, you know what the barrier is with technology? The cost. The cost.
Yes, and especially this type of technology.
Because it's so specialized.
It's specialized.
That means it's very expensive. That's what happens. And so we have a lending library of equipment. It was funded by 2 foundations. And we were able to buy equipment that can be used by the little ones, the toddlers. And while their parents are waiting for third-party payment and insurance or settlement, whatever, we're able to get that equipment into their hands so that they can use it. And then when their equipment comes in, we take that back, we refurbish it, and we will loan that out again. But at the Lakeview School, we have a great assistive technology
I would like to ask the eye gaze technology.
Oh, you saw that. You were so interested.
I was moved.
We were one of the first in the state. Because we have so many different diagnoses and so many different medical conditions, many of the vendors who are developing this technology will come to Lakeview and ask us to try it out. They want to see the real-life application of it. So the eye gaze technology was one of that. And in our augmentative communications section, The eye gaze technology is where you're looking at a computer screen,
Yes.
and your eye gaze is calibrated to that screen with special equipment, and you can read, you can look at words, and it will speak for you.
Just like Stephen King.
Yes, Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
I knew who you
Oh my
meant.
God.
I knew who you meant. But
Oh, that's-
absolutely. So the eye gaze technology, I think that he was using different types of augmentative communication is what we also have too. We have language boards and very sophisticated computer equipment, as well as very basic equipment for those who have less cognitive ability.
You have another amazing events taking place, Greatest Choice. Let's talk about it.
Thank you. You were at our performance, actually our developmental reading. We were able to get 2 grants from the Middlesex County Cultural and Heritage Commission. And we saw the need to tell the story of how the thought on disability has evolved through the past 60 years. It's a great change. Many years ago, people thought institutions were the only way to go. And many families were wrenched by that decision. But that was the decision. There were no resources available. Their doctors told them, you have to put them away. That's what they said. You know, family, pastors, friends, you have to put them away. And so we had these large institutions run by the state. That's changed. And now we have resources in the community that are supportive. We'll have a Lakeview School, early intervention, so the children can live in the community and grow up to be productive. So we're telling that story on stage by way of a dramatic piece, and we will be
It's changing perceptions.
Absolutely.
It's a wonderful gesture. And your school is, this is initiative of NJID, and then you work with the actors and artists.
Yes.
Wonderful. You mentioned something about the aquatic therapy center. Tell us a little bit.
We're very excited about the Aquatic Therapy Center. It's going to be the first of its kind in New Jersey. And it's a high-tech therapy, water therapy unit that's going to be built adjacent to the Lakeview School. It'll be connecting. The pool is being fabricated by a company in Pennsylvania called HydroWorks.
So is there anything else you would like to
No,
add to?
I just thank you so much for this opportunity. And I really think that it's important work that you're doing by putting a spotlight on people who come from different backgrounds with different abilities. And it's a real service to the community.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming here all the way to share some stories with us and some thoughts with us. And I look forward to having you back again.
Thank you.
And for our viewers, this was another episode of Despite the Challenges, and I am host Ritu Chopra. Until next time.